This podcast is sponsored by ninjabuzz.io. Ninjabuzz.io is a marketplace which lets advertisers and podcasters find each other in a matter of minutes. If you have a podcast or if you're considering advertising on a podcast, then go check out ninjabuzz.io and check out the platform today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Poor vs. Standard. Poor here, as always. All financial or other opinions within this podcast are for entertainment purposes only, so please don't sue us. Don't do it. How's everybody been? Hope you've had a great week. It was a down day in the markets today being Monday, September 13th. And overall it was kind of rough. I think one of the only winners we had was Smile Direct Club, so how's that for, craziness? But we're doing, worse than we were, but better than we have before. So middle of the road right now. Overall, markets were down. I think S&P finished up 0.38, as you can see here, if you're looking at the YouTube video, not on the podcast, because you can't see anything I'm doing. And I do apologize that I don't have the video up and running for me, but you don't need to see my face right now anyway, because that's not, what you're here for. There's a couple things that I want to discuss today. One of them being that crypto took a major dump all over everyone's face. And it was because, wait for it, someone was able to basically fabricate a story where it said Walmart was going to partner with Litecoin, and it got through the press release stage, and like places like Reuters were reporting this as actual news because they posted it to a news source to pick it up, and then they also posted on Litecoin's Twitter, and so they kind of verified one another, which was super weird and dumb, but neither here nor there. And so basically what you saw early this morning was a massive rise in crypto, followed by a massive downturn once it was found out that news was fake. Walmart has no intention of partnering with Litecoin. So that was kind of why you saw a massive swing up and then a huge dip right after. And crypto is actually still down. Bitcoin just passed 45,000. And then you have Ethereum currently sitting at $3,280. Which, I mean, these are both buying opportunities in my opinion. 45,000 is a decent Bitcoin price as far as I'm concerned. Anything lower than this, I'm definitely going to be buying. This is kind of a wait and see. But Ethereum at under 3,300, sure, give it to me. Give me all the Ethereum you got. And then Cardano dipped down in like the low 230s earlier this morning, and now it's climbing its way back up. It's currently at 242. Of all three of these assets, it's the most volatile of them. And it's been an interesting ride for crypto today. And also, I've been noticing in Cardano that there's been this kind of locked channel where Cardano will drip down into like the high 230s, low 240s. Then it'll shoot up to like 250, 260, maybe even 270. But then it'll come right back down. And so whoever's been playing these channels of the buying the down and selling the up has been making a lot of money on Cardano, because that is a hell of a swing for something that's worth less than $3. I mean, a 30-cent swing in something that's worth $3, that's 10%. You make 10% on every swing. That's nuts. After 4 or 5 swings, you've made 50% gains. And it's had 4 or 5 swings. I'm not a big guy in swing trade and stuff, but what do you do? That's the news of the day. I'm gonna get into more episodes that breaks things up into more weekly kind of news. I'm gonna try and get a couple episodes out that go over news stories, so you guys are in the know as to what's going on. And with that, this episode I wanted to talk a little bit about you guys, how you're doing, your mental health, all that stuff, your prowess in the market, and that sort of thing, because I think that one of the biggest parts that's overlooked by a lot of people who trade is your well-being. Like, and it's not just, people who are in the stock market and trade, it's everyone. They take their well-being for granted, or they just ignore it while they're doing other things, and it all gets away from them. So I mean, I've labeled this episode faults and failures, and it's, I don't know, I hope it doesn't sound too like, motivational speechy, like, something. That's not what I'm trying to do. There's some thoughts that I want to express, as far as it's okay to screw up. It's okay to fail. Like, I mean, those of you that have been listening to me for a while know that I've had some great hits and had some losers, but I'm still here. And this episode is more about, again, the mental health, your life, and your goals and ambitions. So it's easy to just, do the same thing day in and day out and sit in your comfort zone. And you try, for the first time, and, when you step out of that comfort zone the first time and it bites you in the keister, it's, easy enough. The example would be, a stock related one, when I was all about the Helion company, Hyln, and it bit me in the keister because it just tanked. And I was telling you guys all about how great a company Helion is, and I was very wrong, apparently. The idea is sound, but the company, the financials, things fell apart. But yeah, to be more broad about it, let's say like you quit your job and try to make it on your own. Say you're an accountant and you decide to quit your cushy 50, 60K big firm job and go out to start your own firm. It's pretty scary, and everything, success or failure, is going to be on your shoulders. So it's your fault. People hate taking blame, but they love taking credit. But those two things go hand in hand. So if you're to start your own firm, the buck stops with you. And so if it fails, it's hard to take, but that's because of you. But you can't take failure personally and fall into a self-pity hole. If something you try to do doesn't work out, doesn't pan out, you have to use that failure to your advantage. You failed. You screwed up. You thought you had it right, and it blew up in your face. So you want to take that failure and, explore it. Figure out what went right and where it went wrong, and get back on the horse and try again. I mean, that old adage about how Edison took 10,000 tries to create a light bulb, right? He failed 9,999 times, and he said he didn't fail. He just figured out 9,999 ways not to make a light bulb. So it's, he didn't give up. It was persistent, and it's a little anecdotal story, but it does prove a point, It's, you figure out what you want out of your life, and you treat yourself well, and you go after what you want. You can't force other people to do what you want, but you can force yourself to get out of your comfort zone and do the things to advance yourself to where you want to be. If you set a goal and you know what you want to do to get to that goal, you have to, write out the steps, figure out what will lead you to that goal. And you have to be persistent, and you can't quit, especially after just one failure. I mean, failure is the spice of life. You just have to keep getting back up. And you'll always be able to improve yourself or an idea or a concept you had, but not acting on it, not pursuing it, not putting the plan into motion, that is a type of failure, and it's the worst type of failure because you didn't even try. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't have to answer to me, you don't have to answer your parents, you don't have to answer to your boss. The only person you really have to answer to in life is yourself. Just write down your strengths, your weaknesses, your achievements, and really take a look at them. And it's not so someone else can, see and evaluate it, but you want to be able to see it. And to be truthful with yourself. What are you good at? What do you suck at? What do you want to do? What are you most proud of? Answer those questions. And not just because, the next time you're in an interview or for a job or anything, you have the answers, but so that you know the answers for yourself. And how to go about beating those challenges and challenge yourself as to the things that you want to do. The major difference between people who look up to you and see you successful, or, people you look up to, or, those who might have had an idea, it's execution. Very few people actually go out and try things. They have great ideas, and they think to themselves, man, I bet that's $1 million idea. And that's the end of it. They thought about it, and that's it. Stop right there. Someone else comes along, thinks that same thought. Oh, that's a great idea. Does something about it. That's the difference between successful people and, people who are not as successful, we'll say. It's just like Nike says, you just got to do it. Just do it. I don't own any Nike stock, but the slogan is spot on. So this is, just if you're not happy with where you are in life, if you don't like your job, if you don't like doing what you're doing, I've got a dirty little secret for you, is that most people don't. They don't like their jobs. They don't like doing what they're doing. It's a means to an end. Even the successful people who enjoy what they're doing don't want to be there 100% of the time. But sometimes you have to go and do things you don't want to do in order to be successful. I love doing the show for you folks. I love doing the stock market research, posting for the patrons, and I love this whole process. I love being out here for those of you who still watch and listen, and answering questions and things like that. I still have a full-time job that pays my bills, because this is not, and that's okay. This is a side hustle, hobby of mine, fun. I am enjoying it. And there's days where, I come home from work and I don't really want to record or do these shows because it takes some work and I'm so drained from work, housework, family, but I do it even when I don't want to, because I know that this is what I want to do. And I don't want to be some 9-to-5 lackey at some corporation for forever and sink them to obscurity. I want more than that for myself. I want to leave the world better than I found it. I want to help people seeking knowledge in fields where I am knowledgeable. And that's what I want to do. And so I figured that part out. Figure out what you want to do. And then you got to make a plan. And then you got to follow the plan. And if something goes wrong, you can't give up. That's the key takeaway, is you don't give up at the first chance, at the first sign of failure. When you have one life to make it the way you want to, and at the end of it, you're not going to be saying, I wish I'd spent more time doing TPS reports. You're going to say, I wish I'd tried this idea. I wonder how my life would have, been different if I'd freed up more time by following my heart on this idea and taking more vacations, spent more time with my family. You won't remember most of the days you're at work, but you will remember those novel situations. You'll remember the events in your life with your loved ones, with your family. You'll remember, the things you were most proud of. Work hard to make your dreams a reality, but, the one thing that you shouldn't do is regret not trying things. You should you should absolutely try things that you want to do. Make novel experiences for yourself. You want to write a book, write a book. You want to do something, in finance, by all means, do something in finance. If you want to, teach kids how to ride bikes or something, God bless. But, fill your life with experiences that you can look back on in fondness, and use every tool at your disposal to get there. It's not going to be all sunshine and puppy dogs, and you're going to have shit days. But like everyone else, you got to drive through it, get through it, and get to the other side. And the, more gumption you have, the more disciplined you are, the more likely it is that you will succeed eventually. So that's all I got for you on that. I just wanted to give my thoughts on that, and that, your mental health is something you should be looking for. And if you're feeling stuck, if you're unhappy with your life, if you're feeling like you just, don't want to do things, there's help out there. You can reach out, anyone. It's part of life to not feel your best, and it's part of life to feel like you're stuck at your job sometimes. But if you have plans, if you have goals, definitely follow them. and figure out a plan to get to where you want to be, because at the end of the day, it's not about working to live. It's about, it's about trying to live your life the best way you can. So, all right, that's enough out of that. So we'll take a look at some of these stocks, and yeah, a lot of things fell. I mean, Tattooed Chef's under $20. Smile Direct Club's over $6. It actually went up a lot after hours too. It's at $6.29. Palantir dropped below $26. Corsairs up to $29. And AMC's over 50, almost $52. So there's that. It's a very weird market right now, and I will be releasing some stocks I'm watching to the patrons tomorrow, and some options plays possibly, to see what's going on there. So definitely check us out on Twitter to make sure that you get the updates when I do the buying and the selling of the swinging for the fences plays and that sort of thing, and the options plays. Every time I buy or sell options, I'll post them on Twitter within a reasonable time after I tell the patrons about them. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying us. Thank you so much for sticking with us, and more content's on the way. So thanks a lot. Trade well and be safe.